Hello friends, welcome to the video. Guess I'm playing Pokemon Skylight. You can see why is it going so fast. I did a little bit and I already got a muck kit. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off. So I might make this into a series if it saves the game. If it doesn't save the game, even though I just saved, I'm gonna just probably put it back up to that part. Okay, you know what, I'm just gonna...
Now let's head to the third gym to Battle Hop. Thankfully it's not, but
nobody goes in this cave.
Expect this to be a battle against Hop for some
you know,
reason.
just grind.
It's just him stood there being so intimidating.
If it grinds,
he's just always lurking in the background. Hop's gonna come kill you while you're sleeping. Time to beat Kabu and his fire type gym. Using bulldoze should make this gym a breeze. I start with a bulldoze onto 19 half HP, but I obviously get burnt by Will-O-Wisp as always, so our attacks would be way less powerful. With the reduced attack, it takes 3 more hits from bulldoze to take it out, but Mew is left on half HP. Reaching level 30 here, Mew learns Ancient Power, which is a special attacking move and also super effective, allowing me to avoid the reduction from burn. Arcanine is sent out and a further reduction to my attack makes this Ancient Power even more beneficial. With just 2 Pokemon remaining, I Dynamax and use a Max Rock Vault to take out the Arcanine in 1 hit. Just Kabu's 8 Centiskorch remains and a 4 times super effective Max Rock Vault takes it down super easy to win us the gym badge. If I didn't have Ancient Power here, I don't think this would have been so easy, so I got pretty lucky when I leveled up here. With 3 gyms down, it's time to head to Hammerlock on our way to Stownside. But first, the gym leaders have come to say anyone who isn't subscribed to H. Darcy should right now. On the last video, only 3% of viewers were subscribed. So how about you guys fix that, please?
I'm tapping it.
Sorry about that. I don't know why they had to say that, but they seemed really keen to. Making it to Hammerlock, I now have access to some good TMs I can purchase in the Pokemon Center.
I'm not really halfway to not keep evolving.
Which are both fairly powerful moves for Mew to use at this stage in the game. I was looking for more moves that would be super effective against the upcoming fighting gym, but I couldn't find
them. I don't want to fight another Zubat.
No. This guy in glasses, he shows me his plan to create the
I don't know if I cut anything out.
I'm not really sure how no one knew this guy was going to be.
Put in the comments you want me to know. If the comments are turned off, because I'm going to turn them on, and if they're turned off in the video, I'm really going to get mad. Then, like, if I do another episode on this, I might cut stuff out, or
our leftovers. I managed to take it down with 2 Venishocks, taking about half HP in damage. Silicobra is bad and falls to 1 Brine, leaving just Toxel, which also sucks. 2 hits from Ancient Power and it's gone. We beat up Hop so bad that one of his eyes is now permanently blind. Sorry, Hop. The fighting type gym is coming up and I had hoped for a psychic type moving into this gym, but I couldn't find it. I sent out a team Fly, which is found in a building just outside the gym. Pretty convenient, to be honest. It's time for the fighting gym. This should be pretty easy with our psychic resistance and a super effective flying move. It's probably going to be pretty tedious though, as I'm just going to spam Fly the whole battle. Hitmontop is B's first Pokemon sent out and 2 Flies take it down no problem. Pangoro with its dual dark and fighting type here could be a problem, and after 1 Fly takes a third of its HP, a return Night Slash takes Mew down to half. Assuming this next Fly lands, which it does, we take down the Pangoro. Surfetched uses a Detect on his first turn, which allows us to hit it on the second with Fly. A return Brutal Swing does some good damage onto Mew, but Let Goes help to keep our hit.
I have a potion anyway, so...
It took me a while, but she finally figures out that Fly is my only strategy, and this time uses Detect on the second turn. I was going to say that was pretty smart, but then apparently just completely forgets the next turn, and we take
this time I can take them all out.
With just G-Max Machamp left, doing our own Dynamax and using Max Airstream twice wins us the battle. B hands us the fighting badge.
Okay, I'm level 10 now. I can one-shot it.
The mural outside. Georgian is up and Feet takes its health, leading to a super potion.
Okay, I can't one-shot levels 3.
Manages to finish it. I used the wrong move on Hatchram and a Venoshock does better.
Okay.
Start off. Then I follow up with the right move and 2 steel wings taken down. Gothorita is swept no problem with 2 more attacks from Thief, leaving just Ponyta, which is also taken from another Thief to win us the battle. This time Pete isn't set to choose,
What
but
the
we all agree that the best
It's freaking fire. It's a fire type. It's a fire type. If you don't know what I'm saying, just turn on caps. Oh no, God. Well, I guess training. You can give them the training. I'm gonna turn that back to no speed.
Weezing is the first Pokemon sent out, and a super effective Steel Wing does some good damage, leaving it just above half HP. A second Steel Wing takes it super low, and Weezing follows up with Sludges, which I'd be pretty worried about getting poisoned. Thankfully, we don't get poisoned, and Opal doesn't use a potion, allowing us to take it down with a third hit. Just 3 Pokemon left now, and I decide it's a good idea to Dynamax. A Max Quake is super effective, and Mawile is taken down to red. Mawile has Crunch, but with the added HP of Dynamax, it allows us to tank it pretty well, and the second Max Quake finishes it off.
Just skip this if you don't want to hear this pain.
So my goal is to beat the whole game without it.
Okay, I might have to cut stuff out in part 1 this fast. Actually, we'll practically not cut it out, practically just fast forward.
Steel Wing is my highest power super effective move, so I start with that, but somehow the giant cake manages to dodge it, even though it literally looks like it can't move. I guess that makes sense, right? It's Pokemon. I try again with Steel Wing, and it deals half HP, but Alchemy is able to heal itself with G-Max Finale. It takes 2 more Steel Wings, but we finally finish the battle, and Mew is able to comfortably stay above half HP for the whole battle. Hopefully the difficulty starts to increase soon, because I really haven't had any problems so far. I head back to Hammerlock with Opal after beating the gym, which takes us about 50 hours to walk
just in
there.
case our mom says something, stop healing us.
Now I have a few things to do here before my next battle against Hop. We now have access to this Pokemon Center, which allows me to get the elemental fang moves as TMs, which will likely be very useful. Especially Ice Fang, which I can use on the upcoming Dragon-type Pokemon. Next is obviously the most important part. Let's make a trainer card. Perfect, see? Look how good this looks. Here's the code card if for some reason you want this mess. With that out of the way, let's go fight Hop. He has definitely been waiting long enough, considering it took us so long to walk here. My new TM Firefang is effective against Trevenant, and I take it down no problem with 2 hits.
I can just use
this is the first time I think Hop has sent out Bolton second in any of my challenge runs, which I assume is because it has some
I feel like Mudkip can probably live, but just in case, I'm gonna heal Mudkip anyway, I have to. This is it, I got one there.
Firefang takes it to just under half HP. Answering back with his own super effective knockoff removes the leftovers and does some good
I might just grind to level 16.
With another Firefang. Using Dig again here allows me to take out Heat Mode.
So I might have to edit it to make it shorter to show y'all the grinding part. Yeah, I think I might.
And Revenge to take it out. This battle is usually pretty hard.
Okay, I'm definitely going to do this one.
It's straight through Route 8 and we make it to Sirchester ready to take on the Rock-type gym. I decide to switch up some of these moves here, so I have a water type for fighting G-Max Colossal, and then head straight into battle. It's time to fight the gym leader's name that I can never remember, and Barbaracle is the first Pokemon sent out. I start by using Dig, which takes it down to
actually no, I'm just not even gonna. I'm too lazy to edit this part out. It's not gonna take that long, actually, to be sure. Okay, level 12 should be enough.
2 Pokemon remain, and I decide it's time to Dynamax. I'm using 2 Max Geysers, take down Stonjourner really easily. The Max Geysers I use set up well for fighting Colossal with the rainy weather and a final turn of Dynamax. With Mew moving first, a lucky critical hit Max Geyser finishes the battle in style, winning us a 6th gym badge. Now we have another battle against Hop, which personally I think would have worked way better after the 7th or 8th gym in this game, as it always feels so soon after the previous one in these challenge runs. Again, I switch up my TMs before going into this fight, so I have Firefang for the upcoming Corviknight and Rillaboom. Dugwool is the leading Pokemon, and after taking damage from Takedown, using Revenge takes it down in 1 hit.
Yeah, I can just say
I try the same onto Snorlax, and after using Crunch, a Revenge takes it down to just a sliver of health, which luckily allows the hail to finish it off.
I could say
a knockoff could really mess me up here, but my good luck continues, and Firefang goes to switch, allowing me to finish it off for the next turn. Corviknight is sent out, and I keep up using the Firefangs, with the first doing about a third in HP damage. On the second hit, it critical hits and takes it out. Mew is on a roll right now.
No, because just in case.
Straight down to yellow before Hop uses a potion.
Wait, I used my last attack on accident. I forgot to go down. Okay, I'm just gonna get out the grass.
I will take it. I'm so sorry, Hop.
Okay.
It's time
Gonna go back to normal speed because I need to.
Well, it isn't even surf in this game, is it? It's literally multiple tires inside of your bike. I want surf back.
Okay.
With the ability to travel across water,
Yeah,
it's time to get some good TMs, including finally a stab psychic move.
1 hour?
Get to Route 2 and surf across the lake to get TM Psycho Cut. Then I head to the island
What?
area to get Air
Wait.
Slash. Back to Route 9
If I fast forward.
And finally I get Low Sweep from the wild
Then I
area.
stop.
Getting back on
Let me
track,
see.
I make it to Spike Buff and we have a battle against Marnie.
Yep.
I teach
That's
the
why.
newly acquired Air Slash
Since
and
I
Low
speed
Sweep
up so
in
much.
preparation for this and head straight into the battle. Starting out with Low Sweep, an attack onto Lipard takes it down to the lowest possible HP. Torment stops us from using a second attack and Marnie uses a potion, so I follow up with Revenge to take it straight back to red. Next turn, Lipard uses Nasty Plot, so Mew finishes it off with another Low Sweep. Scrafty is the next Pokemon out, and a lucky flinch from Air Slash allows Mew to take it down in 2 moves without taking any damage. With Toxicroak sent out, I start with another Air Slash, but Toxicroak is able to move first and uses a Swagger. But luckily it misses.
Well, I
and
don't
the Air
care
Slash
if your babysitter won't let you watch Rick and Morty.
Lucky in this run. Just Morpeko remains, and Mew is
Wait. I'm so lonely. That's what happened.
Spike first, which does some good.
Bruh!
Follows up with a Low Sweep, taking
What?
it down to red.
It's just
A second
weird.
bite causes Mew to flinch,
Why
and
is-
a third critical hits it and takes it out. Well, I think I definitely spoke too soon about being lucky. I guess that's my luck back to normal now. I restart the game to avoid Mew being any higher level, and it's time to try again. Lipard starts with a Torment again, and a Low Sweep takes it down easily. Air Slash actually causes Scrafty to flinch again somehow, and I finish it off next turn with a Low Sweep. A critical hit Sucker Punch from Toxicroak takes Mew to just above half HP, and the Air Slash finishes it out with 1 hit. And now just the Super Morpeko remains. Mew starts, and a Low Sweep takes it down to low. Returning with its own bite, Mew is able to survive and not get flinched this time. Next turn, Morpeko actually uses a potion, but it doesn't matter. 2 hits from the fighting moves take it down and win us the battle, allowing us to head straight into Spike Muff to take on Piers. I switch up some of my TMs to have a Fairy and Ground type move to counter some of Piers' Pokemon. Now it's time to take on the Dark type leader, and this could be pretty difficult. Scrafty starts by lowering our attack with Intimidate, but surprisingly doesn't go for Fake Out like it usually does. Starting with a Draining Kiss, we take Scrafty down to low, but then it returns with its own super effective payback, taking Mew to yellow. A second Draining Kiss regains a bit of our HP and finishes off Scrafty. I keep up the trend of kissing Pokemon to death, and I use another Draining Kiss on Malamar, taking it to half, before tanking another Dark type attack with the health regained. Using the second Draining Kiss takes it out safely, and it's taken right back up to green HP. The Obstagoon is sent out third, and I try to go for a big brain play by using a non-attacking move, expecting it to use Obstacle,
I didn't
which
really even
thankfully
need
it does,
to
and I
go
use
to
Charm
the-
to lower its attack.
13.
I keep using Charm, so I'm safe from a lot of its physical attacking moves,
Okay.
and I take it out with a few hits.
I'm gonna cut
I
this.
brought in TM Dig for fighting the Skuntank. After hitting it with Dig, Skuntank uses Screech, which sharply lowers Mew's defense, so I need to be careful for Dark
Subscribe to
attacks.
PewDiePie.
Using Dig again,
I like
Skuntank is
Pokemon.
taken low, but manages to hit a Toxic while Mew is underground.
I'm just calling it PewDiePie because I have forbidden names for him.
Allowing me to follow up with a Draining Kiss to win the battle. That could easily have gone way worse if I earned the Dark Badge on my first attempt. When I leave the gym, I hear a bunch
It was
of
at
explosions,
107
so let's just
last
ignore them
time.
right and head straight to Hammerlock. It's fine. Before heading in, I catch myself some bait to fill the second slot in this double battle. It's time to fight Raihan, the dragon leader with the only 2 dragon Pokemon. I think it would have made way more sense if he was like a weather type gym leader rather than have a dragon badge. Mew is the fastest Pokemon and moves first, and then Ice Fang takes down the Flygon in 1 hit. This is actually pretty great because it avoids the attack reductions that it usually uses from Breaking Swipe. Bait just does some bait things. Next,
And
I
I
start building
wasted
up my attack stat, ready to fight the
This
Duraludon by using some Max
167
Knuckles onto Gigalith, which deals
9
half HP in
minutes.
damage. A second Max Knuckle takes down the Gigalith, but we are now paralyzed from glare from the Sandaconda, which could mess up this whole battle.
Yeah, wait, why am I trying to heal?
Actually
I need to
mirrors
get
effects, and
PP
Sandaconda is now
back.
also paralyzed.
both.
Duraludon is sent in and goes straight to Dynamax using a max rockfall onto Mew, dealing some good damage. Mew misses its first max
I'm just
knuckle,
gonna
and
have to go back
Sandaconda
and
uses
Google
Earth
get some
Power,
more
dealing some
games.
damage.
I mean, I
so
have
he is
one
looking
more
good for the win.
game with me
This round, the Sandaconda
for
starts
tomorrow,
with
but
Protect, and another max rockfall deals some big damage to Mew. Mew is moving last, and a Brick Break lands, dealing half HP damage to Duraludon. The final max rockfall from Duraludon takes Mew to 40 HP.
So
Moving second, Mew takes down Duraludon with a Brick Break, leaving just the Sandaconda. An Earth Power attack and Sandstorm chip damage take Mew down to 2 HP,
so I
and
can
I
just
barely
keep using
survived
that one.
regaining a bit of HP with the leftovers. The
So
next move I
then,
went for a
yeah, I
training case to
know
regain
how
some of my
to
HP, and I just had to pray that I didn't get paralyzed. Thankfully, Mew's move hits
it
and
might.
gets some HP, just for it to be taken away
Now
by
where's the
another Earth
professor?
Power. Back on 18 HP, I
Here.
pray that the last Ice Fang hits, which it does, and we win the battle. It was so close though. Putting on my Nikes, I quickly speed through the fake victory road and make it to Winden ready to take on the league. The Winden Pokemon Center has a direct upgrade to our Fang TM moves, so I buy these for you to use. Switching up Mew's moves, it's time to head straight into the first battle against Marnie. A Brick Break is too much for Liepard, and it takes it out in one.
So looks like that anyways, Pokemon in this region. Yeah, I knew it.
Hit. Scrafty is sent out and Air Slash does some good damage, but a Crunch answers back, taking a third of Mew's HP. Scrafty gets a full restore and a Draining Kiss in Air Slash finished by taking it out. Using my Stab Psycho Cut is too much for Toxicroak and easily takes it down.
Oh, well, I don't care. At least I got like
Just 2 Pokemon left.
okay,
It's time
so
to
then I have
Dynamax
10
against the
Pokeballs.
I start by getting the
If
ball
I'm right, he would give me
Starfall,
5.
which takes down
So
Morpeko in
then
one hit,
I
just
got
leaving the
10
Grimmsnarl.
Pokeballs then.
Keeping up the Starfalls, it hits hard and takes Grimmsnarl to
No, I got 15. He gives me 10.
snooze from Grimmsnarl onto Mew.
Okay, so
Thankfully,
we're
we
here.
are faster, and the final Max Starfall
So
takes it out and wins us the battle in pretty strong fashion. Now it's time for Hop to lose. Here we go. Using Brick Break starts it off by
Okay,
taking
you know
double
I'm
to yellow,
lazy.
but a return Body Slam paralyzes Mew and could mess this whole battle up. But next turn I hit
Okay,
with a
Route
Brick Break
4.
to take it out. Mew
think
likes
this might
breaking
go
breaks, and a
to
critical
the-
hit takes down Snorlax to yellow. And another critical hit takes down Snorlax too easy with the Brick Smasher. Pincurchin is sent out and straight underground with Dig to deal half
This is a good
HP
way to
damage.
train
The
Wurmple up.
second hit from Dig isn't actually able to take it out as Pincurchin keeps using Curse to boost its defense. I tried to end it quick with a Psycho Cut, but Hop has other ideas and uses a full restore, so
I
it's time to
hope
play the long
he's
game.
right.
Psycho Cut is dealing about the same damage as a Dig, so I stay with it and chip away at Pincurchin's HP. Apparently the paralysis actually means nothing in this battle, and Mew lands every single hit to finally take it down after about 5 hits. Big Dumb Me presses the wrong move and wastes a turn using Psycho Cut before Dynamaxing and using a Max Flare next turn
We
to
name
take
him
out the Corviknight.
in.
The final Pokemon is Rillaboom, which starts off with a Max Darkness that barely does any damage. Keeping up the trend of paralysis meaning nothing, a Max Flare lands and takes down Rillaboom easily in just 1 hit to win us the battle. Someone that knows the Master of Paralysis, make sure to tell me down in the comments below how low a chance that was of happening. That was pretty mad. We have a quick pause in the league where Mew needs to go use Fire Punch on some Steel types before a battle against Oleana at the top of Rose Tower. Frostlass is Oleana's first Pokemon, and a super effective critical hit Fire Punch takes it down cleanly with just 1 hit. Milotic is no match for Mew with its counters, and 2 Thunderfangs take it down.
No,
With 3
14.
Pokemon left, it's time to Dynamax. A Max Quake starts off and destroys Salazzle, and a Max Flare does the same to Serena, leaving just the Gigantamax Garbodor.
They just
1 more turn of Dynamax for Mew, and a
they
Max
just
Quake
fire
takes it
just
really
make
low.
a really
A return G-Max Malador does pretty much nothing, allowing Mew to finish off the battle with a Psycho Cut. Chairman Rose talks about his plan to build the Eye of Sauron and tells us he's going to blow up the stadium tomorrow. To be honest, that sounds pretty worrying. Maybe I shouldn't trust the chairman. Now that it's the next day, it's time to take on the Budget Elite Four, where you get free heals after every battle. First fight is Beat. Mawile's Intimidate lowers Mew's attack, so our Fire Punch isn't able to do that.
Okay, I'm
much,
turning
only
that
doing half
off.
HP. Mawile attacks back with a Crunch, dealing about a quarter
Okay, now I'm
damage,
being much
allowing the
about-
second Fire Punch
what
to
am I
finish
doing?
off. The Steel-type move Smart Strike takes down Rapidash with only 2 hits, leaving 2 Pokemon left.
No.
It's Dynamax time, and it takes just one Max Steel Spike to take down Gardevoir, leaving just G-Max Hatterene. Another Max Steel Spike does some good damage, leaving it under half HP. The Hatterene attacks back, dealing a little bit of damage, allowing me to finish the battle with one final Max Steel Spike, beating Beat. I head straight back onto the pitch, and it's time to fight Nessa next. This might have been one of the worst battles of all time, and I'm going to try speak really fast and say the whole thing in one take. Are you ready? Here we go. 2 Thunderfangs cause Golisopod to emergency exit. 2 more Thunderfangs take out Seaking. Golisopod is sent back in and uses a full restore. 2 more Thunderfangs cause Golisopod to emergency exit. Using another Thunderfang to expire Skidoo.
I spent like 2 hours of the game.
What? How can a fish chop? Thunderfang finishes it off.
Because of me speeding up time.
Thunderfang finishes it off. Now it's Dynamax time.
Okay,
Max Lightning takes out Pelipper easy and just Dreadnought is last. Max Lightning takes it to yellow, attacking back with Max Darkness, and Mew is taken to half. Max Lightning finishes it off to win the battle.
How much did I do? Oh, not 2 minutes. Give me a sec, guys, while I press this one.
Using Psycho Cut kills Hawlucha, Surfetched, and Graplocked all in one hit to start off. The Phalanx is actually able to survive, and it takes 2 hits to take it out, leaving just Machamp.
Okay.
Watch this. I used Max Flares to make the battle super interesting, right?
Dang.
You're on the edge of your seat for this. Yeah, Max Mindstorm finishes it straight away, winning the battle.
Who was learning it? Yeah, I'm not gonna remember it. Okay. Okay, let's get it. Okay, Beautifly, first try. Yes. Okay. We should heal. Okay. So Mudkip is definitely really tanky, but I don't think. Well, right now it's gonna evolve next time.
Torkoal keeps using Solar Beam, which does barely any damage, and I spam through the sleep before using Dig to
Okay, I feel like I played this game before, but it wasn't like on my phone. It's like on Google. Play Pokemon games for free, I'm pretty sure.
Mew still likes Stinging Hose, and 2 more hits with the JCB Excavator takes out Turtonator.
No.
It's pretty tanky, so it takes 2 hits
turn
from Ice Punch to take it
that.
down. Just the Ace Gerard.
Okay.
Time to go Dynamax, and a Max Knuckle deals about 1/3 HP in damage before casually tanking a Max Rockfall like it's nothing. The Duraludon barely survives the next Max Knuckle, so it takes a 1/3 to finish it off and beat Raihan, which puts an end to the budget Elite Four. Time to fight the budget champion. Nah, I'm joking. Leon is
Yeah,
not
that's
bad.
about
Oh yeah, I forgot Chairman Rose said he was blowing up.
Mudkip was about to die.
Stop him. It's time to punch some fire. A Fire Punch takes down Excavalier easily. Berserker needs 2 punches to take out. I Dynamax pretty early with just 3 Pokemon left, and a Max Flare takes down Ferrothorn in 1. Klinklang is the same, and another Max Flare takes it out. Big Steel Elephant is able to survive the last Max Flare, so I need to follow up with a punch to take it out and win the battle. Please stop blowing up stuff, Chairman Rose. I quickly stop on the roof to catch a legendary, and now please can I finally get my battle with the champion?
No, don't see.
Battle. I brought Amnesia so I could get around the attack reduction of Aegislash and also boost my defense against Leon's primarily special attacking team. First round, Aegislash uses King Slash, so
I'm gonna have to sacrifice in.
To max it at +6.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna make this a series. So then, because then I'll just have my potions again. Because every save, it goes back to when you last saved. So just in case, I'm gonna put it on 2. In case I lose this one, I don't have. Then I could just go back to the other one. That's about to say. How did in live that? I'm gonna read. Okay, I'm not gonna say PewDiePie out. That's stupid.
It's pretty back and forth here as Leon uses a full restore, but the constant HP stealing moves takes me back up to high HP before Dragapult is finally taken down.
Nah, what is he? Oh, freaking Kroger. And there you go.
Inteleon reduces Mew's attack with tearful eyes, but is fairly easily taken down with 2 punches. Haxorus is sent out 4th and is physical attacking, so I Dynamax to add the extra HP, which is still only 1.5 times, as I haven't used any Dynamax candies. A Max Starfall takes Haxorus under half,
yeah, of course
and Outrage doesn't do that much back. The second Max Starfall takes out, and Mr. Rhyme is sent.
And my phone is
my final turn of Dynamax. I use a Max Flare to take Mr. Rhyme under half HP. It answers back with a Teeter Dance,
there we go.
Does nothing because
already only plus
I use a Fire Punch to finish it off, and just Charizard remains.
Halfway to stay
I start
a minute.
with a Thunder Punch, which deals a bit of damage to Charizard, but it returns with a max airstream that pretty much does nothing to Mew with its extremely high special defense.
Can I stop having
back and forth with these moves, and Charizard
trying to learn myself? I can delete moves to make mud shot growl.
With the boosted speed,
okay, I'm just gonna speed up.
Fire Blast deals high damage to Mew, taking it all the way to low yellow. Returning with a Thunder Punch.
Okay, I'm gonna save just in case. I'm gonna keep slot 1 because I want to beat the frick out of him again, probably.
With a winning Thunder Punch. And with that, we beat Pokemon Sword with only Mew. I wonder how much more difficult it would have been having to play Pokemon Shield's Ghost Gym. Playing Pokemon Sword actually ended up being really easy, and I probably should have done Shield, but it's too late now. I still had loads of fun with the challenge though, as I got to use a variety of different moves with Mew learning every TM. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, make sure to join the Discord if you want a chance at winning the Mew used in this video.
Wait, let's check. Is that the first gym? No, that's the second one. Okay, so I have to go the other way.
With that, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will see you all next time in another
challenge video. I have to... Wait, how much self is there?
Hey, are you guys playing AFK Arena 2? Let's do it.
I get better feet to that team.
Awesome.
Oh wait, P-Press in front.
My Ascendant Runes. Awesome.
Oh yeah? Well, my Chimera, Celestial Twins, Wukong, and Selena are all maxed out. Wow! How'd you get so good?
I started the game with 30 summons. When you first summon 30, you'll definitely get an elite hero. You'll definitely upgrade your team with the rewards you get. Then, you'll get more once you beat King's Tower, Peaks of Time, and Arcane Labyrinth.
AFK Arena, the best RPG for busy you.
My name is Wiggo and welcome back to another video. It's been a while since I've done an actual new Pokemon ROM hack challenge. So today we'll be jumping into Pokemon Team Rocket Edition. And we will be seeing if we can beat the game with only stolen Pokemon, because in this game you have the ability to steal a Pokemon from each trainer you defeat. So this is definitely going to be possible, but I really wanted to do a sort of review video because this is one of the best ROM hacks that I've ever played. I think it might actually be my favorite ROM hack ever created, and I've played a bunch of ROM hacks in my free time. So you basically work as a Team Rocket member working for Giovanni and his admins. You have to work your way around Kanto doing all of
Okay,
these
if I
missions
do
for
this
Giovanni, and you basically play through the entire Fire Red storyline, but in the shoes of a bad guy. So there's no defeating gyms or anything like that, it's just working for Giovanni and doing his missions. But there are a lot of twists and turns into this storyline, so I'm going to be talking a lot about the story in this video, because it's so good. The rules are simple, like always no items in battle, and I can only use the stolen Pokemon in battle as well. So as always people, don't forget to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notifications if you haven't done that already. And with that out of the way, let's jump right into Pokemon Team Rocket Edition. So normally in Pokemon games, you get greeted by Professor Oak, but in this game, it's one of the Team Rocket admins. It's Petrol. He explains a little bit about the organization, and then you get to pick your name. And we'll be going with Don Gio in this run, because we're going to be naming all of our Pokemon kind of Italian, like Mr. Giovanni himself. So you start off the game in the Team Rocket hideout down at the spinning tiles, and you get to choose your starter. Well, not really choose, you have to check a box, and in the box there will be a Rattata as your starter Pokemon. So since we didn't really steal this Rattata, we will just be using it to get our first stolen Pokemon, and that will be our actual starter. Then we head upstairs to get ourselves the HM for Fly of one of the aids, because you don't need any gym badges to use HMs in this game. You then meet up with Ronnie. He's also a new recruit in Team Rocket, and he's going to be your best friend throughout this entire challenge, basically. So you two will be going on missions together and having loads and loads of fun. The first mission you do with him is steal a Pokemon. So you head upstairs, and there is a little girl walking around a fountain. And he's like, yes, this is the perfect opportunity for you to steal your first Pokemon. So you persuade her to go into a Pokemon battle with you, and after you beat her up, you get to choose one of her Pokemon that you can steal. She had a Spearow and a Pidgey, and my favorite of the two is Spearow, so I will be going with Spearow in this one. I name him ACO. And with that flying type, we can now fly, so we fly to Mount Moon to do our first real mission. So why are we at Mount Moon? Well, there have been some rumors that there are Pokemon fossils here, and Team Rocket is of course out to steal those. Then while I went into the cave, I actually lost to a bug catcher. My ace is super effective against this Pokemon, but still, I was not able to beat this Weedle and Caterpie. Then eventually one of the grunts finds what he thinks is a fossil, but the other grunts find out really quickly that it's actually a Moonstone, and they don't really care about it, so we're gonna pick that thing up for ourselves. We then have another meetup with the squad, and apparently every single Team Rocket member except for me and Ronnie got beaten up by some spiky-haired kid, and they're referring to Blue. So Blue waltzed into Mount Moon, and he beat up every single Team Rocket member. Luckily, me and Ronnie aren't that scared, and we keep looking for the fossils. I then steal a Paras from a bug catcher, which I named Pablo. We also steal a Nidoran female, so that we can eventually maybe have a Nidoqueen, and we name her Ezio. We then find the scientist that we hired as Team Rocket to find the fossils for us. He also tells us that the spiky-haired kid came around, but he told him that he wasn't a trainer, so he left him alone. Ronnie's now going back to Petrol to report that we have found the fossils, but as we try to go back to Petrol, we run into Red. And of course, Red being Red, he wants to fight us. And he already has a level 25 Charmeleon, and he sweeps my entire team, which is meant to happen. He then walks off and steals both of the fossils, so our mission has been sabotaged by him. Ronnie comes back, and he's super mad at me and the scientist for losing against this stupid kid and wasting our fossils. Petrol then comes along, and he asks us if we have some more information about the trainer that beat us, and that we have to go and report that to Giovanni. We then head back to the hideout, where we meet up with Giovanni and Ariana. He says that it's absurd that all of his Team Rocket grunts got beaten up by some kids. He then asks us everything about the kid, and I tell him that his name is Red, and he says, what a ridiculous name, which it kinda is. He then says that we really have to watch out for these kids because a Wartortle and a Charmeleon are some very strong Pokemon. Then one of Giovanni's minions walks in. You may know him as Blaine. To sum up their conversation, well, Blaine is making Porygons for Giovanni's game corner so that he can give them away to two trainers. But making Porygon is illegal and Blaine doesn't want to do it anymore, and he says that he can hire Bill to do it. The reason why Blaine doesn't want to make these Porygons anymore is because he could lose his gym leader status. So Giovanni then sends us on a journey to find Bill and try and recruit him for this project. But first we have to go to the daycare, which is another Team Rocket scheme because they steal all of the Pokemon from the trainers that bring them in. But that's not really the reason that we're here. It's because Archer has a package for us that we have to deliver to Bill to try and bribe him into coming to Team Rocket. Then we head to Nugget Bridge to beat up some trainers and steal their Pokemon. First I stole a Mankey, and then my Nidoran evolved into a Nidorina, and after that I got myself a Slowpoke, which I named Toadster 3 because he's one of my mods and his favorite Pokemon is a Slowpoke. We then go to Bill's house, and in the package there are rare candies, a shiny Magikarp, and a ticket for the SSN, as well as some money.
Yeah, how am I
He's
supposed
really
to
impressed
be
with the offer because he says that he gets paid more at Sylph Co, but he's gonna take it anyway. But for him to accept, we have to become his little spy and tell him all about Team Rocket's schemes. So that's what we're going to do, and Bill is now working for Team Rocket. We then head back to the Nugget Bridge to meet up with Blue in person for the first time. He then says that Team Rocket is bad and that he thought that he had all of them in Mount Moon, but he didn't, so he's going to challenge us. We start off the battle by beating up his Pidgey with my Slowpoke's water gun while getting hit with a few sand attacks as well. Next up is his Rattata, so I go with my Mankey and I low kick him a load of times until he eventually faints while we're only left with 4 HP. Next up is Abra, and that thing can't touch us at all because it only knows teleport, so my Slowpoke is easily able to take it out. Then we learn Confusion, which is going to make the fight against War Turtle a lot easier. He just kept on using Withdraw for some reason, and I was able to take him out with about 5
Boy, you level
Confusions.
16.
He then starts to cry and
Yo,
very
bro, what
sad
the
that he lost his battle because he's been losing to Red a bunch of times and he's sick of it. So he then runs off and we have to get back to the daycare. As we're back in the hideout, we find out that Ronnie has blown a hole into the house in Cerulean City and stolen the TM for Dig. We then go to the TV and we find out that Lance is on the case and that we are now being hunted as Team Rocket members, so we actually have to behave ourselves. If we steal a Pokemon, there will be a bounty on our head, and at the end of the game, the higher the bounty, the worse your sentence is going to be. If you're actually going to be a nice guy and not steal any kinds of Pokemon, you will get rewarded with TMs and such from police officers, but we won't be doing that in this game at all. We will only be stealing Pokemon. We then get a new mission to go to Lieutenant Surge and meet up with him because he has ordered some steroids from Team Rocket to boost his Pokemon stats because he's a corrupt gym leader. And in trade for that, he gives us some rare Pokemon that he has stuffed on the SSN, and we have to go and get those. But first, I steal myself a Pikachu, I name him Julio, and then I run through Diglett Cave to pick up a flashlight from an old guy there, which serves as the Flash TM. We then go to Lieutenant Surge's gym with Proton. He cuts down the tree and we have a good old talk with Lieutenant Surge. He just beat up some challengers and he's giving them some advice about training your Pokemon. Of course, Surge. Like you're not giving them any steroids. He then tells us that the Pokemon that we're here for aren't here, they're at the SSN, so we have to go and rob the SSN real quick. Then once we reach the SSN, we see that Lance is actually there talking to Steven Stone. They're talking about the well-being of the Kanto region and how Lance has everything under control, which is clearly a lie. They also talk about Professor Oak and how he's developed the Pokedex, and also about the politics there, which I really don't care about. So we're just gonna head to the captain, and as we enter his room, he catches us and he tells us that these are some illegal packages and that he has to beat us up for it. Apparently his name is Arab. I have no idea if that's actually confirmed in the real series as well, but he starts off with a Tentacool. So I start off with Pikachu and I'm able to get off 2 Thunder Shocks before we get taken out by a Bubble Beam. Then I switch in Toadster, who is able to take down the Tentacool with 2 Psychics. Next up is Diglett, so I switch into my Nidorina and I'm able to get off a Double Kick, but then we get taken out by a Magnitude. So I switch in ACO to finish off the Diglett with a Peck. Then Krabby comes out and I'm able to do a load of chip damage with my Mankey, but then we get taken out as well. So I then switch to Toadster, I'm able to Tanky Bubble and take it out with a Psychic. And last up is a Scyther, so I switch into my Geodude and I'm able to finish that thing off with a rock throw. After the fight, I get to steal a Pokemon, I go with Scyther, and I name him Mantio. Luckily, Proton comes along with his coughing, he spits some poison gas in the captain's face, and he's now puking in the little trash can. We then make our getaway, he shows us the truck that we have to use to deliver the Pokemon with, and we have now completed another mission. We then get sent to the Team Rocket Tower to steal some Cubone skulls and meet up with Mr. Fuji. But at the first floor, we meet up with Blue once again. We have a little bit of a deep conversation with him and how he's actually here because his Raticate died because Red actually killed the Raticate. And it was actually Red's intention to kill the Raticate. He looked very angry and Blue couldn't get to the Poké Center in time, that's why his Raticate sadly passed away. He tells us about his backstory with Red a little bit and how they met up in Pallet Town and how he's always lost to Red in Pokemon battles and how much he actually hates him. He then says, I guess not all Team Rocket members are bad and he's going to help us to get to the top of the Pokemon Tower. While making my way up to the top of the tower, I steal myself a Ghastly and I name him Marco. We then go to the top of the tower, we meet Marowak's spirit, we beat it up, and it says something different here. It says, your spirit is not pure, you can't go upstairs, but we do it anyway. Then once we reach the top, we see that Mr. Fuji is there, and we actually have to battle him. This is the only time I think you have to ever battle Mr. Fuji, so this is a very cool addition to the game. But of course, he has a stacked team, and he's very easily able to beat us up with this Marowak. So after that, I grind up my Ghastly up to level 25 so that he evolved into Haunter. And then I went back to Mr. Fuji, and this time I was able to take down his first Pokemon Marowak with my Haunter's Nightshade with only 3 of them. So next up is Lickitung, and I switch into Mankey and try to go for a low kick, but it barely does any damage because we're so low in level and we get taken out by a Stomp. So I'm then switching Scyther. I know that False Swipe can't kill, but it is our best attacking move at the moment, so I just use 3 False Swipes before we get taken out. So I switch in Ezio. I'm able to take him down into red health, but then he heals up and disables my double kick. I'm able to get him back down into orange health, but then Ezio goes down as well. So I switch in Pikachu. I'm able to get off a Thunder Shock, but then we got taken out as well. Then I switch in Haunter, and the Lickitung gets taken out by the poison damage. Next is Pikachu, and it's able to hit us
So
with
funny!
a load of damage, but luckily next turn it goes for double team, so I'm able to finish it
Okay,
off with 2
so
Nightshades and a Shadow
Marshtomp
Sneak. Last is Ditto, and
with
this is of course a reference to when he worked on the Mewtwo project. So I was able to switch in my Slowpoke, put his to sleep while mine was asleep as well, and then I just spammed Headbutt for the rest of the battle, and I was able to win against Mr. Fuji. After the battle, I steal his Lickitung and I name it Lickio. And then he tells us about his backstory with Giovanni and how Giovanni was one of the stakeholders in the Mewtwo project and how he had to create Mewtwo to keep Giovanni satisfied. Archer then comes along and he tells us, yeah, we all know that story, don't Gio? I got this covered. You can go back to the base and get some rest. And while I head downstairs, we have a little bit of a chat with Blue, and he tells us that he's going to stay here to make sure his Raticate is going to rest peacefully. Then as we leave the tower, we have our first meeting with Professor Oak, and he asks us if we've seen Mr. Fuji, but then as he sees that we're wearing a Team Rocket outfit, he's like, never mind, forget what I just asked. Then we head back to the game corner, but who's walking out? It's Red, and as we go in, we see that Giovanni is super mad at everyone, and he's like, how can a little kid beat every single one in this hideout up by himself? He's very stressed that he's going to take on the Viridian City Gym, which is actually Giovanni. So he then asks us about our mission with Mr. Fuji, and we tell him all about it. But then we also tell him about what Blue told us about Red, so everything that he came out of Pallet Town, that Oak gave him that Charmander, and now Giovanni knows everything about him. And then Giovanni tells us about the entire backstory with him and Oak and Blaine and Fuji and all of the other scientists. Back in the day, there was a war in Kanto, so it was Giovanni and his scientists
basically against the whole entire government, which is actually the Elite Four. So I will now narrate the story of Giovanni. Kanto's war effort was going badly. It was now clear that we could not win by force alone, but there was one thing that Giovanni has that Lance doesn't have: the minds of the brightest scientists in all of Kanto. Ever since the start of the war, Oak had been leading a number of secret initiatives to capture and harness the power of one Pokemon. One so rare, most laymen thought it was just a legend. Legends don't win wars. Oak knew better. Once a word got back that Dr. Fuji had at least caught a hold of Mew, we knew there was no chance the public could know. Then at last, they managed to capture the Mew, but they couldn't even harness its power because the Mew wouldn't even attack a stupid Magikarp. It was too friendly to use as a weapon. But Oak had an amazing idea. He called it the Mewtwo Project. He was going to clone Mew, and he had to make sure that that Pokemon had its power, but that it also had the ability to destroy the entire region. But to do that, they needed the help of Giovanni, the richest member of the Elite Four. Once they got the funding, they started working on it, but the project went wrong multiple times, cloning Pokemon that they now call Ditto. They were kind of like purple blobs, and they were able to transform into any Pokemon. But then one day, they were able to create a clone that they now call the Disaster. It didn't look like a Ditto, and it didn't act like one. It was very vicious, and it managed to escape and kill all of the Dittos inside of the mansion. They then thought that it was all over and that all of their experiments were for nothing, but Dr. Fuji came along with one of the best ideas ever. He wanted to clone the Pokemon together with human DNA. So all of the scientists entered their DNA into the capsule together with the Mew DNA, and that is when Mewtwo was created. At first, it listened to the scientists because it didn't know that it was going to be used for war yet, but eventually it found out, so they had to make an armor for it so that he could fight the strongest of Pokemon. Eventually, he broke out of the armor, he burned down the mansion, and he fled to Cerulean Cave, where to this day, Mewtwo is still hiding. Then after Mewtwo escaped, the war was all over. The scientists surrendered together with Giovanni, and Oak's punishment is that he could never ever participate in another Pokemon battle again. And Giovanni, he got kicked out of the Elite Four and had to become a gym leader, and that's why he wants revenge on Lance. We then go back to the future and we find out that Silver is actually Ariana's and Giovanni's son. I didn't even know that Ariana was the mother of Silver, but it kinda makes sense with the red hair. After that, he tells Ariana to go to the gym and guard it, and he promotes me to Rocket Admin, so I get this cool new outfit, and I can now steal Pokemon from different Pokemon trainers as well, and he tells us that our new mission is to interrogate Professor Oak back in Pallet Town. I then go to his lab, but apparently he isn't home, so I leave again, but as I try to leave Pallet Town, we see that Agatha is running by. She then tells us that she is very surprised to see a Team Rocket member in a peaceful town like Pallet. She then tells us that we're probably looking for Professor Oak and that we have more in common than we think. So she invites us inside to have some tea. We go inside and she then tells us that she's the grandmother of Blue and of Daisy here. She then tells us that the father of Blue and Daisy, so her children, had died in an accident. It was all the war's fault and Lance's fault, and she and Oak promised to avenge her son and his wife. But when it all came down to it, Oak surrendered, and that's why she is so mad at Oak, because she basically left them hanging, left them in the dust. She then apologizes to her daughter for bringing all of this up and then leaves, and then Ronnie comes in. We haven't seen him for a while, and he tells us that we have to leave this tea party and go to Professor Oak's lab. But Daisy gets mad and he's like, I knew I couldn't trust you, and then she battles us. She starts off with her Chansey, so I lead off with Nidorina, and I'm able to double kick it once and it's taken out. Next up is Ponyta, so I switch in my Slowpoke. I'm able to bring it down into red health, then she heals up. I'm able to hit one more water gun, but then we get taken out. Then I switch in Ezio, who is able to take down the Ponyta with a single double kick. She also had a Nidorina which she sent out after that, and I was able to take out her Nidorina with only 1 HP remaining because we got the flinch lock. Next was Raichu, so I switched to my Geodude, who is able to take that thing down with 2 magnitudes because it really couldn't touch us. After the fight, we again get the option to steal a Pokemon, and I'm gonna go with Raichu because it's going to be a very good team member if we get it. And him is Dio, and I will be adding him to the team later on. After
It's
that,
so
Ronnie
dumb.
and he straight up attacks Daisy with Hyper Fang. Dang, this dude is absolutely reckless. He then heads off and tells that he's going to report back to Giovanni. We then head back to the hideout and we see that Ronnie is talking to Giovanni about the mission. But Giovanni tells him that he shouldn't even have gone with me and that he's very disappointed in him and that he really wants to fire him, but he is going to give him one more chance. He gets sent out and Giovanni asks us to come up. He tells us that he's going to set up another team to fight Professor Oak and that he has a new mission for us, and that is to beat up Blaine because he has to come back to Team Rocket and make some more Porygons. So we go back to the mansion and we find a letter that is on the table over there that is from Professor Oak himself. It states that Professor Oak is very, very disappointed in Blaine because he has found out that he's working with Team Rocket. But he says that as a friend, he has no need to taint his near-flawless gym leader and scientific reputations, and says he will do it if they do not meet up very, very shortly. We then find Blaine and he's like, Giovanni's pet, I knew you would come at last. Prepare for a beating. And the beating is exactly what I got. I got beaten up by a second Pokemon Ponyta because my team is pretty damn under level till this point in the game. So after the battle, I beat up a swimmer and I got myself a Seadra which I named Julio, and he's going to be very good against Blaine. He starts off with a Growlithe while I start off with my Nidorina, and of course we get wrecked by Flamethrower and Flame Burst. So then I switch in Julio, who is able to take down the Growlithe with a single Bubble Beam. And next up is Ponyta. For Ponyta, I stayed in with my Julio.
It's 50 minutes long.
Next up is Rapidash, and I'm able to avoid 2 of its Infernos
I'm
and
not just
kill it
start
with
to
2 Bubble
52
Beams.
minutes.
Next up is Arcanine, and I'm able to hit it with 1 Bubble Beam, but 2 Extreme Speeds are too much for my Seadra. So I then switch in Slowpoke. I'm able to hit a Surf, get it to red health, but then he heals up. I get 1 more Surf off, and then we're dead to an Extreme Speed. So I then switch in Raichu and finish this battle off with 2 Thunderbolts. After the battle, he's like, yeah, I know I believe in Team Rocket, but I'm not some petty criminal. I'm a gym leader. I can't be doing this all for revenge. I have to make my standards. And then he's like,
Okay, so I'm gonna end the video here. Bye guys, Bonnie's Gamer. Wait.
Second chance with Giovanni, and he's like, I don't mind becoming another corrupt gym leader.
Bonnie
There are so many corrupt gym
Gamer.
leaders already.
Signing
I want to work with you guys again. He
out.
then leaves the key to his gym on this table because he